Hey everybody, this is Brett Lewis from L4 Group, and today I have with me Steve Ohl from RF Ohl, and RF Ohl is a fuel company. They deliver heating oil, propane, kerosene. They're based in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, and they also service and install air conditioning systems, HVAC, and split unit air conditioning systems as well. So, Steve, why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hi, how you doing?
So, Steve, first off, before we get into some of the questions that I'm going to be asking you, why don't you just give everybody a little bit of a background of RFO and what you guys are all about?
Uh, we're 30 years old this year, celebrating our 30th anniversary. We do, like you mentioned, heating oil, propane delivery, on-road diesel fuel, off-road diesel fuel. We also deliver kerosene. Um, we're a full-service heating and air conditioning company. Also, in addition to that, there goes my energy saving again.
There we go.
That means that the uh, The the other thing that we do is we have a full hearth and patio showroom where customers can come in and feel and touch the items before they purchase them. In addition to having HVAC systems, air conditioning systems, heat pumps on display, boilers and furnaces, we also have fireplaces, retractable awnings, patio furniture, barbecue grills, both propane and charcoal, and also natural gas. So yeah, we have a full office. You can come and see us whenever you want and take a look at the items.
Yeah, as far as stuff on display, you're actually in a room right now where behind you is a split unit AC system.
Yeah, we have a room set up that shows all of the heating and air conditioning options. Well, not all of them. Those probably wouldn't fit in one building. But there's some of the most popular items that we have, and that would be like mini splits, outdoor whole house units. We also have Renai on-demand water heaters, so and boilers and furnaces. There's a lot of different things, but we have the whole room set up. So when you come in and you want to see what it looks like in that room, kind of what it would either be in your basement or your attic or outside or in your living room, it gives you a way to look at it and visualize it.
It's awesome. That's awesome. So it definitely helps people when especially people who want to actually see what they're buying and just helps them visualize, what they're looking at. So let me ask you. I mean, you've been in business 30 years. That's big accomplishments. Congrats there. And being in business for that amount of time, I'm sure you've got lots of stories to tell. But as far as HVAC service goes, can you talk about just some differences in HVAC companies, and just give people some ideas as a consumer, what they should be aware of when they need to get air conditioning installed or serviced in their house, and some of the things that they really should be on the lookout for.
Uh, well, yeah, I mean, there's quite a difference between a true HVAC company installing air conditioning and heating systems than the what we like to call the chuck in a truck, man in a van. The person that really is not doing it as a full business. It's sometimes more of a hobby. You want to make sure that you're out there looking for somebody that's been in business reasonable amount of time, and that they're able to supply your needs. I mean, we've definitely heard some we refer to as horror stories or problems with installations going wrong, and that's usually not always, but most times it's tracked back to somebody not fully involved in the business. They may just be doing it as a sideline, or they just got in business and they're not quite sure how they're going about the business plan. So we do run into those. You know, every so often it happens.
What What are some of the horror stories that you've come across?
We've actually had a customer that they waited 3 years during the installation process. That's probably the most horrific one I've heard. They were installing a whole house air conditioning system, heat pump system, and it actually was 3 years in the making, where this guy would come by and do piecemeal work here and there. And finally, after 6 months of no activity, the customer called and had a company come in and do the installation that should have really taken less than a week altogether.
I was going to ask. I mean, 3 years, and I mean, if you guys were doing the install, I mean, begin to end, how long would it take you guys?
Probably less than a week. It really would have took less than a week to do the whole house system. Probably more like 4 days. But yeah, it was, and that was in Neffs. It was real local to here. It's not like it was in a different state or anything. It was right in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of those stories out there. We have another customer gave thousands of dollars for a installation, and that happened right here in Lehighton. And only basically the ductwork was installed, and the customer could never contact the contractor again, and the contractor moved out of the area or something, and just you're out that money. So a lot of times it's good to tie back your, especially if you're giving a deposit, make sure that you have some kind of physical presence in, not only in the town you're in, but in the state. It's particularly important when you're handing over a large sum of money to somebody. You want to make sure that they're going to be available to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's as a consumer, you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence and checking the company and make sure that they're like you said, a physical presence and are going to stand behind what they do.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So let me I threw the word split unit system, and it's the system that's right behind you on the wall. People might not know exactly what that means. Can you talk about that a little bit? Switch gears a little.
Yeah, a mini split system is you hear that term a lot, and basically what it is it's a similar version to what a whole house unit is. You have the indoor unit, which I don't know if you can see that right here.
Yeah, right behind you. Yep.
If you can see that, and then also there's an outdoor unit similar to what you would have in a regular whole house system that's outside. There's no duct work run. It's really all done through the refrigerant lines, and it's basically about a 2-inch hole that has to be installed into the home so that you can run the refrigerant lines in. All of this is done outside. You don't see any of that inside in the interior. All you would see is like I said, the head unit that's above me there. Inside the home, and you can do multiple head units. I believe now we're up to like 8 or 9 units, off of one outdoor unit, depending on the size of the outdoor unit. They're super quiet. They even have a quiet mode if you want it to be total. And really, you can't even hear it run. I have them in my office, in my house, and years ago when we used to have the window units, they'd be so noisy, and these are super quiet. You really don't hear anything when they're running. They have a remote control, and that basically controls the unit. You just set it where you want it on the temperature. You can have different rooms at different temperatures depending on how many head units you have in each room, or in the rest of your house. So, they're really great product. They've been on the market, I believe, over 20 years now, and they definitely have a proven track record. We install the Fujitsu brand, Mitsubishi, and also the Train mini split ductless systems. So there's a lot of products to choose from out there, and those 3 brands have had a proven track record.
That's awesome. Can you talk about what the best applications would be for that kind of system versus a traditional ducted HVAC system?
Sure. Traditional ducted system is usually installed in a new home uh, because it's under the construction process, and you have to run duct work through through areas that are going to be enclosed. If you try to do that to retrofit an existing home, unless it's the exact perfect thing that you have set up in the home, typically a ranch home is pretty easy to do a whole house system. But then sometimes you're taking up closet space to run ductwork through. So, and that's after it's been up in an existing home. So, going into an existing home is one application for mini split that's really easy. You can install almost any home, but a lot of the additions that are installed on homes, sunrooms, four-season rooms, um, you know, maybe you have the man cave. You build a man cave in the basement, and you're not quite sure. Or you built it and then you figured out, ooh, I do need heating and cooling in here because that has. Those are the situations that are really perfect for a mini split. Maybe an old farmhouse, where you have really thick walls or something, and you can't install traditional duct work through those, or a log cabin, things like that.
Oh, there goes your light again. Yep. That's nice when you're trying to save energy, but when you're doing this kind of stuff, it's it flips on and off.
Yeah, it's really designed for when you're walking in and out of the room to turn the lights off when you leave. And I guess I ain't moving enough. My head movements aren't enough to keep it going.
Right. So, but yeah, okay, good. So that gives a great reference point as far as where mini splits are best applied versus a traditional ducted system. So that I hope that gives our viewers a good idea. Now, what about let's talk about shopping around and especially when you're looking to get a new install put into either a new construction home or an addition, or like you're saying, a four-season room or something, where you need a new system put in. The tendency is for consumers to be, always looking for the lowest price out there, which, I mean, that's a good thing, but can you talk about that a little bit and, discuss the pros and cons?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking for a great deal, and just make sure that the deal matches this value and the service that you're going to need for the system. That's one thing to look for. Make sure the contractor that you're hiring has the proper insurance. They have like I said earlier, a physical presence. Another good thing is a website. Do they have a website? Things like that that are important. I mean, we've had customers call us that hired, like I said, the man in the van, truck in the truck kind of thing. And just last week, actually, we had one call us and said, hey, we've just been so frustrated. We had the system installed a year ago. Keep calling the contractor back to come and do the work. And finally, they called the manufacturer, and the manufacturer gave them a couple names, and the customer called us because they knew our reputation and had heard of us in the community. And they, we went out that day. I believe it was last Friday, and it ended up being a simple thing. It was a refrigerant leak, but many times the people that do the work are really just looking to do the installation. They're not backing it up with the service. They're not even available for service many times. It's funny. Sometimes customers tell me that they call a number that says 24 hours, and they're actually talked out of doing the work because the guy either is answering the phone himself, and maybe he just got in after a long night or day of working, and he's not able to go back out. So he'll usually talk the customer out of waiting till the next day to do that service. And unless there's some kind of issue with doing service at a certain time, depending on weather conditions or things like that, because humidity and rain can play in a factor when you're trying to open refrigerant lines and installation of systems. But otherwise, we're 24 hours a day, we're available to go out, and most reputable HVAC companies have a true 24-hour service. So you want to definitely look for that.
Yeah, so that was my next question for you is, let's talk about service and how does that relate to, your company. Give people an idea about RF Ohl, the way that you operate, how people get in touch with you, typical response time, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we're available by phone. Do you want me to give the contact info? I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're available by phone. You can give us a call at 610-377-1098. You can go to our website, which is www.rfohl.com, and on there you can actually schedule appointments. You can send out a contact form, to have somebody contact you about an issue you're having. If you want to, you can email us, info@rfohl.com. You could go on Facebook and send us a message on Facebook, Twitter. All these avenues are available. You can actually walk into our office. Believe it or not, in this day and age, it's still important to we have people come in every day and they're like, what? I just don't want to talk on the phone. I'm so tired of talking on the phone. I've talked to 5 people. I get 5 different answers. I want to talk to somebody face to face. You can do that. Come down here and talk to us about the problems you're having, and we'll be more than happy to set up an appointment. And we have dedicated people to help, whether it's on the phone or in person. So you're not. We welcome customers. It's it's amazing, but in today's age of technology, a lot of times you can't even meet the person you're talking to. Well, you can definitely do that here. So that's important to us. We pride ourselves in that fact.
Yeah, I mean, just to give people an idea, you have someone dedicated to answering the phones. It's not like you're sending the phone call to a service and then you have somebody calling back. You actually have someone answering phones during the day, correct?
Yeah, during the day we have dedicated phone person answering the phone. We have a dedicated account specialist. We have home comfort specialists on staff. We have service technicians. If for some reason we don't know the answer, we will call you back because the customer is the only reason that RF Ohl exists, and many times contractors forget that, but you'll never get that here. You'll never get that feeling of I felt like I was bothering him, but we would never want to give that impression to anybody. We welcome customers. That's why we exist. So we're all about customer service. We want to take care of everybody's issues and help them out the best way we can.
That's great to hear. Last thing, I don't think we touched on this yet, but can you give everybody an idea of the service area that you guys cover?
Sure. We do about a 50-mile radius of Lehighton, Pennsylvania. And we cover about 5 counties, which is Carbon County, Monroe County, Northampton County, Lehigh County, and Monroe County. We're in the Lehigh Valley. We're in the Stroudsburg area, over into Fogelsville, Gurmansville, Emmaus. North, we're into Jim Thorpe and Albrightsville. So we're like I said, pretty many places. We get a lot of calls that say, "Hey, I saw your van drive by, and I didn't know you serviced this area, and I've heard about you." So I mean, that's kind of look for those, the vehicles out there. They're all clearly marked and labeled, and there's no magnetic signs, so you don't have to worry. We'll be in business much longer. We actually, many times run into that where it's just a magnetic sign, and the person can change their name literally within an hour.
Right.
We're truly involved in the business, and we're fully staffed and ready to go. And it's supposed to be, I believe, 85 today, 85 degrees. So I'm sure phones will be lighting up shortly.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it got up a little bit over 80 yesterday, and I'm sure this week you guys are going to be really busy. A lot of people scheduling service calls and emergency calls.
Yeah.
So, all right, good. Well, Steve, I want to say thanks for taking the time to talk about air conditioning today. Why don't you give everybody again your website address, your phone, and your physical office address as well. So if people do want to contact you, they know how to do it.
Sure. It's www.rfohl.com for the website. The phone number is 610-377-1098, and our physical address is 400 Interchange Road. That's Route 209, Lehighton, Pennsylvania.
Okay, awesome. Well, Steve, again, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about air conditioning, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Brett.
All right, take care.